They're the ones who are tossing tear gas when people are peacefully protesting. ICE is the one who's going into neighborhoods where they, frankly, are causing fear among people who live in those neighborhoods, work in those neighborhoods. And so they need to back off.
The governor believes ICE may have violated the TRO that was issued last week. He also says it's, quote, hyper unusual for the federal government to not communicate with the state, adding that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was supposed to call him last week, but never did.
Well, the governor isn't the only one who believes that ICE agents are violating a federal temporary restraining order. The judge who made that ruling says she is, quote, profoundly concerned that federal agents working on immigration enforcement in the greater Chicago area are violating her orders. Hi, my name is Suri Crowe, and you are watching the MeidasTouch Network.
U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis calling the court hearing after seeing reports like these from Chicago media, including the ABC 7i team, showing video of federal agents unleashing volleys of tear gas on the public. All without audible warnings, something that is unlawful under a temporary restraining order from Judge Ellis issued last week. Ellis taking particular issue with this instance from the Southeast Side on Tuesday, which started with immigration agents pursuing and crashing into a vehicle driven by a suspected undocumented immigrant on the Southeast Side, a protest later ensuing. DHS agents then firing tear gas on the crowd after one of them was hit with an egg. Ellis modifying that order to require all agents participating in Operation Midway Blitz to wear body-worn cameras and that they be on to make sure they are abiding by her order of 2 warnings for chemical munitions, rubber bullets, and other use of force.
Judge Sarah Ellis held a hearing this past week telling the parties involved that she was modifying her order after seeing several incidents in the media that had her, quote, profoundly concerned that ICE agents were not following the court order, which banned agents from using chemical force methods on peaceful protesters, journalists, and bystanders. And that if agents do find reason to use those methods, they are to issue 2 separate warnings. Like, I'm warning you once, now I'm warning you a separate time before deploying those methods. And Judge Ellis told the court that body cameras would confirm whether or not the agents were indeed following her orders.
Oh, what's going on?
She absolutely is within her powers to enforce orders that she has already issued. And she can take and enforce remedial measures to make sure that they're doing what they said they would do and what she ordered them to do.
ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says it speaks volumes that Judge Ellis demanded Chicago ICE Field Office Director Russell Hott to appear in court on Monday to answer questions about this and other instances where violations are alleged.
The judge is upset by what she has seen. She called this hearing. No one asked her to. She's been watching the press coverage and concluded that her order is being disregarded.
DHS attorneys arguing in court, given the government shutdown, rolling out a body camera program would be challenging and costly, and saying not all agents have been issued body-worn cameras. In a statement to the I-Team, DHS said in part, quote, there is currently no order requiring body cameras, and any suggestion to the contrary is false reporting. Were a court to enter such an order in the future, that would be an extreme act of judicial activism.
That's right. The Chicago field director for ICE, a guy by the name of Russell Hott, has been ordered to appear in Judge Ellis's courtroom Monday morning. Judge Ellis is not fucking around. DHS has repeatedly ignored my inquiries regarding these incidents when I have asked them, do they plan to abide by Judge Ellis's court orders, etc. And I've seen in the comments, you guys, some of you are like, what do you expect? Of course, they're not going to reply to you, but it's my job as a reporter to ask them, to inquire. That is the job of a journalist, so that if it were to ever come back on them, we know this is a very litigious administration. And they said, well, you never asked us for our side of this story. I can say, here are the receipts. Here is me inquiring why your agents were not abiding by these judge orders. And you can see there that in their response to Chicago TV7, that they are calling Judge Ellis's enforcement of her order, quote, judicial activism, which is just absurd. But here is the good news. The Trump regime, as we know, is lawless and breaking all kinds of laws all of the time. But they are now hearing a word that Trump and Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem and Tom Homan hate. And that word is no.
Also happening in federal grand juries where regular citizens are refusing to indict their peers with charges trumped up by this administration. Like a young woman in D.C. who was accused of assaulting an FBI agent during a protest against immigration officials. Now, the office Trump's handpicked U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro tried 3 times to indict her on a felony with like serious jail time attached, right? They failed every time. So then they got her indicted on a misdemeanor. And late this evening, listen to this. After a brief trial and less than 2 hours of deliberation, jurors returned a not guilty verdict. These jurors and reporters and airport administrators and university presidents, right, join a Democratic Congress that seems to have found its backbone now 9 months into this, saying no to a president killing healthcare subsidies, illegally impounding funds, creating new funds out of thin air that he's not legally allowed to access. And they join a growing number of judges saying, in no uncertain terms, and again, across the ideological spectrum, appointed by presidents Democrat and Republican, no, you can't put American troops on city streets. You can't have armed agents wearing masks and refusing to identify yourselves and violating people's Fourth Amendment rights. Just pulling them over, grabbing them, detaining them. They join thousands of Americans who are monitoring ICE in their neighborhoods, documenting raids, in many cases preventing illegal arrests through just nonviolent witness. All of this is different than those first few months of the administration, right? I mean, then it was like this snowball just rolling down a mountain. It's like so fast. And you saw law firms saying yes and universities saying yes and everyone kind of not sure what to do. But everywhere you look now, the no's are piling up. They are.
We also saw the word no in action this week when every press outlet except the weirdos at OAN said no to Pete Hegseth's pathetic authoritarian overreach at the Pentagon. When all those reporters, including even Fox and Newsmax, knocked me over with a feather, walked out of the Pentagon, refusing to sign his demand.
This was them yesterday. This is the scene. It's virtually everyone in the Pentagon press corps, right? Across the sort of spectrum, turned in their access badges, emptied out their workspaces, and vacated the building. Rather than agree to the administration's new restrictions, they were essentially told to act as stenographers if they wanted to keep their access, right? Basically, authorized reporting only. And everyone refused, except for the far-right One America News Network. But just them. I mean, Newsmax said no. There was refusal from Fox News, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's former employer.
I think what we're seeing right now, it's something we've heard a lot, but what we're seeing in real time in front of our own eyes is this basic idea. Courage is contagious, and it's spreading all over the country right now.
Perhaps by the time you see this video, you will have participated in what will surely have been the largest protest in America's history, the No Kings protest. And I do feel a shift. And I'll be honest, I have felt really down at times over the past awful 10 months of the Trump regime, but I am heartened by the dancing characters unlocked in Portland, Oregon.
One foot in your bed, one foot out the bed, one foot in and you shake it all like.
I am heartened by the journalists who are banding together in Chicago and filed suit against the federal government for deploying like barbaric methods against them, and by Judge Sarah Ellis, who is holding DHS's feet to the fire. As she said in court, what she is looking at is how are these agents enforcing the law? And are they doing so in a manner that is violating people's constitutional rights? And if so, that needs to stop. We still have a constitution in America, despite the Trump regime's constant ignoring of that fact. You know, these mass thugs are running around hiding their identifications, which, by the way, Judge Ellis also ordered that regardless of whether or not they're masked or not, they are to clearly identify themselves on their uniform. That was also part of her original order. Because they know what they are doing is illegal and wrong. So continue to record them on your phones, continue to document what is going on, because we are marching toward a day when we will hold these criminals accountable. I know it feels like we're in a dark time, but one day there will be justice coming. I am affirming that, and I am manifesting that And we're already seeing that in cases like this situation with Judge Ellis, she saw these media accounts. She saw people's phone accounts of just complete thuggery violating her court order. She was like, oh, no, you don't. Get back in my damn courtroom. Right on, Judge Ellis. And by the way, if you are in New Jersey or Virginia, we start that new day right now. Please get out and help at the polls. The Republican regime machine is in full court press. I can tell you, I'm in Virginia. They are spending millions of dollars to get their extremist agenda out in front. Do whatever you can to make sure that voters have a chance to get their voices heard. It is all hands on deck now. Call your representatives, demand that they fight for you. Time for corporate-owned Democrats to get out of the party. There is a new day coming, one that represents us and freedom and our constitutional rights. And it starts with us. Okay? As always, remain fierce and peace.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.